Hi, this is Dr. Arnold, and in this video, we're going to be getting you closer to becoming a dental student and helping you along your journey to becoming a dentist. The October 15th deadline has come, it's gone, and now you're waiting for responses from dental universities asking you to come in for a dental interview. Now, instead of doing nothing and spending the time worrying about whether you're going to get an interview or not, what you can be doing is preparing for the interviews, getting yourself prepared and ready for when you do get that invitation for interview. And in this video, we're going to be going through the things you can be thinking about as you wait for your dental interviews. One of the first things you can start to do is to research your chosen universities further. Can you look at their websites? Can you look at any of the documents that they've published for applicants wanting to get into their dental school? You can now look at all that information with a fine-tooth comb and really get to know exactly what that university, what that dental school wants in each of their candidates. So you can start to do that. 4 universities you'd have picked. So make a table or make a document, something that you can refer to, which will highlight what that university, what that dental school is looking for. So look at the website of each of your dental schools that you have chosen. For the interviews themselves, you have to start thinking, are the dental schools you have applied to going to be presenting as a traditional panel style interview, or is it going to be an MMI, a multiple mini interview? If it's the traditional panel format, think about how you would approach that. You might have a lecturer on the panel, you might have one of the supervisors on the panel, a dentist that will also be interviewing you. You might have one of the dental students also on the panel, and it may go on for about 20 to 40 minutes, you talking, conversing with that panel. Or it may be a multiple mini interview. Now, with multiple mini interviews, you've got many stations, maybe 10 to 12 stations, where you're answering a question or a scenario, handling a scenario at each of those stations. How would you approach that? It might be that with those stations, you're given a problem to solve, or you're asked to perform a manual dexterity skill. Or maybe it's a communication station where you've got an actor and you've got to be able to go through a scenario. When it comes to the actual interviews themselves, you need to start thinking about the questions that are going to be asked, the type of questions that are going to be asked. So, have you been looking at the hot topics within dentistry? Have you been looking at dental articles, news stories related to dental issues? Have you been looking at how COVID has affected how dentistry is functioning? Have you looked at how fluoridation can be an issue within dentistry, or how there's a decreasing use of amalgam in fillings? Are you able to look at those hot topics and talk confidently about them at interview as well? When it comes to healthcare ethics, how glued up are you on the 4 principles? Beneficence, autonomy, non-maleficence, justice. Are you able to understand these, and are you able to apply them when you're conversing with somebody at interview? Are you able to apply them to scenarios in a way that makes sense for dentistry? So it's looking at those ethics, those healthcare ethics, and being able to apply them at interview as well. Can you stand out from other candidates by speaking on the GDC standards? So these are the standards, the regulations, the principles that all dentists must work to, the 9 GDC principles. Are you able to employ them in your answers as you're talking at interview. You don't need to memorize all of them. I would suggest knowing maybe 2 or 3 very well and being able to also use those in your answers at interview. Your personal statement, remember that thing. So your personal statement, yes, you've submitted it, but when it comes to interview, you're going to need to talk very well um, in terms of what you wrote about in your personal statement. So make sure, that when it comes to interview, that you refresh your mind on what you wrote in your personal statement and that you're able to talk on the things that you wrote about. So anything that you talked about in terms of wider reading or courses you went on or dental work experience placements, make sure that you're able to talk about those in an exciting way, in a passionate way, that lets the interviewer know that this personal statement does belong to you, that this personal statement is something that represents you and all the experiences that you talked about. It's likely that 2020, with all that's happened with COVID, that things may be different with interviews. So it's highly likely that for interviews, you're going to be asked to do it over video. So this could be virtual interviews. Now, doing an interview in person can be slightly different to doing an interview virtually. So it means that you have to practice accordingly, that if you're going to be having virtual interviews, this means that you need to become comfortable speaking in front of a camera and being able to get familiar and more comfortable in that sort of setting. So when you're practicing for interviews, make sure to practice virtually as well as in person with friends and family. So to help you in preparing for your interviews, Dental Mentor UK is going to be putting on some more videos on interview preparation. So make sure to be tuned in to the Instagram, Dental Mentor UK, and as well the playlist on YouTube, which is going to be covering dental interviews. So make sure you're tuned in to the YouTube and to the Instagram page in order to get all the information that we're going to be putting out to help you prepare for your dental interviews. One thing that we're going to be doing as well is a study club. So a study club to have a group of aspiring dentists, a group of applicants, and we're going to be going through different questions and how you might approach them and just helping you to get ready for your dental interview. So if you want to get involved in the study club, then make sure to DM Dental Mentor UK on Instagram or to email us at dentalmentoruk@gmail.com. Get in touch if you do want to join in with the study club, and we'll be able to help you as you get ready for your interviews. See you at the next one.